Hi, and thanks for watching our video on NetSuite's financial reporting. We want to show people what we have seen our controllers and CFOs and other accounting and finance professionals that we've worked with, what they've loved about NetSuite's financial reporting so much. So we're going to show that in the demo video today, and hopefully you'll also share in what they love. So let's start. So first of all, this is a NetSuite income statement. Now, this is totally customizable in terms of its layout and formatting, etc. But I thought this would be a great place to start because it's kind of the end in mind when we think of financial reporting. So the first thing you're going to notice is a 4-digit account structure. Now, you're not limited to 4 digits. You could have 5, you could have 6, right? Whatever is appropriate for your business. Certainly there's best practices, but what you will notice is the GL is just the actual GL account. And it doesn't have this long string historically that GL accounts had. So it doesn't have 4,000 .department, .subsidiary, .location, .etc. Right? And the value of having a shorter GL string is 1, you don't have to add 50 GL accounts every time you add a department or subsidiary or location. And 2, it keeps your GL much, much shorter. So the maintenance and the efficiency and the effectiveness, you'll see benefits from all that. Now you might be saying, well, wait a minute, I still need to record transactions by subsidiary, department, location, etc. And you certainly can. So what NetSuite's done is broken those segments out from the GL string and think of them as separate columns in Excel. So now I can have a pivot table experience when I go to slice and dice my data to a NetSuite income statement. So what does that mean or look like? Well, let's just remember this 46 million, and we'll tie that out when I do this. But net, if I want to see this income statement by department, I can change my column here to view it by department, okay? So the first thing I always do is I say, does it tie out? So there's that 46 million we tie out. Now I'm going to look at the column headers here. And the column headers are going to tell me how my activity for whatever periods I've selected is being transacted across these different departments. So I can have whatever departments I want. This is totally customizable by each company we work with, as well as you could have a no department. And sometimes that's really helpful mid-month or at month end to review in case you need to do allocations or make sure people are hitting the right departments from a transaction perspective. But net, I was able to slice and dice this income statement by department, and all the data is going to be in real time. So as people are transacting in NetSuite, all I have to do is hit my refresh button one more time and I'll have the latest value. So it's not like I have to wait for any type of batch process as I'm posting, especially during my month-end close. It's really going to speed things up. So that's just an example of how I might slice it by department. Maybe I want to slice it by location. I can do that as well. And you're not limited to just a couple segments. You can have as many of these segments as you want, right? Out of the box, NetSuite comes with department and class and location and some others, but certainly you can add some more as it's relevant for your business. As well as they have subsidiaries. So for those companies with multiple subsidiaries, this is really nice because what I can see is a consolidating total of my activity for that period or those periods. And what I'll often do is come in here mid-month and just look at the activity to see how we're performing. Granted, there's often adjustments that need to be made, right? Intercompany transactions, etc. But at least I can directly understand where I am on a subsidiary level and a consolidated level mid-month. And I think that that's really, really important. And again, it's all real time, okay? So let's look at one more thing here because all the accountants are going to ask. Yes, we also can view this by accounting period. So in this case, I had it set from January to December, and certainly I can view that accordingly. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit more about these segments. So if I want to create a brand new account, this is what my screen could look like. I put in the number, the name. Is it a sub-account? Is it a certain type of account, which has different functions in NetSuite as well as can help with groupings for financial reporting? Is it a particular currency? Is it a summary account, which means it's a roll-up and can't be posted to? Do I want to restrict it to certain departments, class, locations, or subsidiaries? And of course, I can also add other fields. And this is often really relevant when I have alternative financial reporting structures and I want to group things a certain way. So I might control that by adding new fields to this page. And then let's see this in action. So we talked about how to create an account. We saw what the income statement looked like with those segments. But if I'm actually recording a transaction, here, for example, what I have is a journal, just a very basic journal entry, right? But here I could put my account down, certainly my debits and credits, and then you can start to see that segmentation at the line level. Now I can make this mandatory. I can make it available at the header and applies to all the lines. I could do it line by line. So there's a lot of feature functionality. I could have this auto set on transactions based on certain business rules. So there's a lot of ways to control the segmentation being recorded, and it's important to think through that to make it as automated and as efficient as possible so my reporting is accurate. But net, if I hover on the list of departments here, you'll see that I have all the departments available that I'd like to record this transaction against. So going back to the income statement, that's how we're getting this view when I look at the income statement by department is on the transaction line level. I'm recording these activities to understand how am I doing across that particular segment, again in real time as people are posting transactions mid-period. The other things I'll show you real quick about financial reporting that's been very popular is one, I can always export this to Excel. And that's pretty typical with most financial reporting tools. But one thing that NetSuite did a really good job of, and this is a little bit of a creature comfort for us accountants, but what they did is they maintained the formatting, so I still have things like my sums. And this will save you some time at month end as you're preparing decks and reporting, etc. Okay, so that's one thing there. Another thing is you can always export this to PDF, to CSV, to Word. You could print it. You can certainly email it, and you can schedule it as well. So if you want this report to show up on people's desks every day at 9 a.m., then they can do that. And this is just one example of NetSuite's financial reporting reports, looking at something simple as an income statement. But net, hopefully you could see that NetSuite's done a really strategic and smart job of breaking out the GL account as its own segment from the other reporting segments of the business, which allows us to have that pivot table slice and dice experience of our financial reporting. And then certainly we can always see this data in real time as it refreshes. So if you have other questions or you'd like a personal demo, please feel free to reach out. We're SCS Cloud, a 5-star NetSuite partner. And my name's Josh Lasab, and here's my email and contact information if you'd like to reach out accordingly. Thanks for your time.